when one of the world's wealthiest men cancels a major keynote address just hours before he's supposed to walk on stage. You know something significant is happening behind the scenes. Bill Gates was set to speak at India's massive AI summit this week, an event designed to showcase the country as a rising power in artificial intelligence. Then, without much warning, he pulled out completely. The reason? It has everything to do with documents that surfaced recently, connections from his past, and questions that simply won't go away. India poured enormous resources into this summit. They wanted to send a clear message to the world that they're not just participating in the AI revolution, they want to help lead it. Prime Minister Modi himself showed up to inaugurate the gathering, standing alongside the French president and some of the biggest names in technology. Google's CEO was there. So was Sam Altman from OpenAI and Dario Amodei from Anthropic. This wasn't a minor conference. It was meant to be a defining moment for India's tech ambitions, attracting attention and investment from across the globe, and it worked, at least on paper. Companies pledged over $200 billion in AI investments throughout the event. India's Reliance Industries alone announced plans worth $110 billion. Major partnerships were signed, including one between India's Tata Group and OpenAI. By any measure, those are extraordinary numbers. But the event itself became a story for all the wrong reasons, and Gates' last-minute withdrawal added another layer of complication to an already troubled gathering. The timing tells you everything. Just last month, the U.S. Justice Department released a batch of emails that included communication between Jeffrey Epstein and staff at the Gates Foundation. Epstein, the late financier and convicted sex offender, had connections to numerous powerful figures before his death. Gates has acknowledged meeting with Epstein, but has always maintained those meetings were focused on philanthropic work and that continuing any relationship with him was a mistake. Still, the release of those emails brought renewed attention and renewed questions. Gates Foundation tried to get ahead of the situation. Just days before the summit, they dismissed rumors that he wouldn't attend and confirmed he was still planning to speak. Then, hours before his scheduled keynote, they announced the cancellation. The official explanation was that he wanted to keep the focus on the summit's priorities rather than becoming a distraction. Someone else from the foundation spoke in his place, but the foundation didn't directly answer questions about whether the Epstein Scrutiny played a role in the decision. It's worth understanding what was already happening at this summit before Gates pulled out. Nvidia's CEO had canceled his appearance days earlier. The event faced harsh criticism over logistics and planning. Roads kept getting shut down for VIP movements, creating traffic nightmares in a city of 20 million people participating. Companies showed up to find exhibition halls suddenly closed to the public without warning, leaving their carefully prepared displays sitting empty. One Indian university got caught presenting a commercially available Chinese-made robot as if they created it themselves, sparking outrage and getting kicked out of the event. Researchers and tech professionals who traveled to attend expressed frustration on social media about being treated like they didn't matter, stuck waiting for hours so government officials could pass through. Even the Indian government issued an apology for the chaos during the opening days. Opposition politicians seized on the disorganization, criticizing Modi's administration for mishandling what should have been a showcase moment. So you have this contradiction. On one level, the summit succeeded in its core mission of attracting massive investment commitments and bringing together major players in AI. On another level, it became a case study in how not to run a high-profile international event. And Gates' withdrawal, coming right on top of everything else, shifted attention away from India's AI ambitions and toward questions about personal conduct and accountability. This matters because it highlights how past associations continue to cast shadows even years later. Gates has spent decades building a reputation as a philanthropist, funding global health initiatives and education programs. But connections to Epstein remain a liability that resurfaces whenever new information emerges. In an environment where public trust is fragile and scrutiny is constant, even indirect associations carry weight. For India, the challenge now is recovering the narrative. They wanted this summit to establish them as a serious voice in global AI governance, particularly representing perspectives from the developing world. Instead, much of the coverage focused on organizational failures and high-profile cancellations. The investment pledges are real and significant, but the execution problems raise questions about readiness for the leadership role they're seeking. What comes next depends on several factors. Gates will need to continue addressing questions about his past associations as long as new information keeps surfacing. India will likely refine its approach for future major events, having learned expensive lessons about logistics and communication. And the broader AI industry will keep watching how personal conduct intersects with professional standing, especially as these technologies become more powerful and more scrutinized. The story unfolding here isn't really about one man skipping one event. It's about how the past shapes the present, how reputations get built and tested, and how even the most carefully planned moments can unravel when uncomfortable questions resurface. When billions of dollars and global ambitions collide with personal scrutiny, something has to give. This time, it was Gates stepping back rather than becoming the story himself. Whether that was enough to preserve focus on what India hoped to achieve, that's still an open question. If you want to stay informed on stories like this where technology, power, and accountability intersect in ways that matter, make sure you're following Allure Updates. We break down the news that shapes how the world actually works without the noise.